Super excited to see so many people still streaming in. That's great. Hello and welcome. My name is Marcus Cederstrom. I'm a folklorist here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Again, just really excited to be co-hosting today's presentation with my friend and fellow UW-Madison folklorist and linguist, Mirva Johnson, who's actually joining us from Finland today. Our presentation will feature Gloria Johnson and Erika Suo, who are presenting Preserving the Pulla Tradition in Oulu, Wisconsin. And for those of you joining us for the first time as part of this second year-long and virtual FinnFest, welcome. I want to, again, thank you all for being here. I want to thank FinnFest for organizing this really wonderful series of events through 2022. Today is the second event in this particular series on Finnish and Finnish American folk life. And we've been really proud to work together with our FinnFest colleagues to bring you a really enjoyable and interesting set of talks and performances. I want to also thank the Center for the Study of Upper Midwestern Cultures at UW-Madison and Sustaining Scandinavian Folk Arts in the Upper Midwest Project, which is also known as Nordic Folk Life. It's great to see so many people here supporting FinnFest, supporting this virtual series, supporting the traditional arts. And we're going to be making some links available to all of you as we go along today. So you can follow up for more on FinnFest. You can follow up for more on Sustaining Scandinavian Folk Arts in the Upper Midwest Project, as well as more on the Center for the Study of Upper Midwestern Cultures. As always, this is a live program held on the Zoom webinar platform. And so what that means is that the presenters can't actually see you or hear you as audience members, but you all hopefully should be able to see us and hear us. We will have time for questions though, and we're going to be kind of taking them along the way this time as opposed to waiting to the end. You can use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to ask those questions, and then I or Mirva will pass those along as Gloria and Erika teach us more about pulla making. We are recording this, and then we'll be sharing it through the FinnFest website, as well as the Center for the Study of Upper Midwestern Cultures YouTube channel. So as we welcome everyone, and we do this every time, but I think it's really important, as we welcome everyone to our FinnFest Folk Life series, I want us all to take a little time to think about place. Like I mentioned, I work at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, which lies on Ho-Chunk land. And I say that and I acknowledge that to acknowledge that we can't really tell the story of immigration. We can't tell these stories of our own history, of our own heritage. We can't talk about our family and friends who came here without understanding, of course, where we came from, where we are, but also who came before us and who will come after us, I think. So as we gather from places across the country and across the globe, we really want you to take some time to think about the people who are there and the places that you are. Think about those who are related to you, those who are kin to you, and those who aren't. Think about how the land has changed and how it has changed in front of and with you. These connections, all of these connections have helped really shape who we are, but also shape the places we live in today. And so we ask that you embrace that you reflect on that for just a moment and hope that these reflections, as we talk about now, pulla making in Oulu, Wisconsin, and Gloria's own kind of Swedish twist to this, that it will help bring a deeper connection and a deeper understanding to what we're talking about today. And I would really encourage everyone to check out the many amazing organizations in your area who are doing work to sustain this history and heritage, both the indigenous heritage, but also the immigrant heritage, and that we're supporting both of those because they are so intertwined. Before I hand it over to Mirva and then to Gloria and Erika, I want to remind you all about the upcoming May event. FinnFest is partnering with the Finnish Foreign Ministry for a 3-part series on the environment and sustainability. It should be a really exciting series. And the first one is going to be happening on May 21st, which is not the last Saturday of the month. But because of Memorial Day weekend, we wanted to be sure everyone has a chance to kind of tune in and join us. So it's going to be May 21st, and you'll find more details on the website in the coming days as we kind of figure out all of the specifics there. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Mirva to introduce today's presentation of Gloria Johnson and Erika Suo. Mirva, take it away.
Yeah, thanks so much, Marcus. And yeah, thank you everyone. I'm really grateful to have the chance to be here with you all today. And it is especially great to see Erika and Gloria. It has been, actually, I haven't had the chance to see them since the pandemic started. So this is just an extra special treat for me. So my goal here is to give you a very, very brief anecdote, contextualization, but the plan is to pass this on to Erika and Gloria as quickly as possible. But yeah, so as you may remember from the title here, you're likely familiar with Pulla. It's a cardamom bread, considered a Finnish delicacy, and there are many variations of this kind of cardamom flavored yeast bread throughout the Nordic countries, but also the upper Midwest. And along with Pulla, it's known by a lot of different names, particularly in Finnish America, including nisu and biscuit. And this Pulla, it's important to think about the ways that place and food kind of are intertwined and connect. And this hit home for me, especially because I'm currently in Turku and I'd never lived in Finland before. And when I arrived in my apartment, I found my landlord's old home economics book from middle school that had a Pulla recipe in it. And I thought to myself, let me give this different kind of recipe a try. And lo and behold, there were several recipes in this book. I had not really thought about how Pulla has different variations until I'd looked through this book. And so I gave myself the challenge of trying to make a new kind every month. Some have been great, some have really not worked at all. And that's how that goes. That's how learning is. But in doing so, it inevitably made me think of Gloria's Pulla and how I had spent some time with her a couple of years ago, and she had led me through demonstrating how to make her Pulla with a Swedish touch. And it also made me think of my own grandmother's Pulla because I had first learned about what Pulla is from her, and she'd always had a particular way of making it when she visited, and her recipe gave loaves that looked suspiciously like the Pulla that she always bought from her town's bakery for special occasions. And so in doing this, it also made me think about how I'm going to have to adapt this recipe when I return to Wisconsin, because there are certain things that you measure differently and certain things you do differently. And so all of that's going to have to get adapted and changed. And so the ways that we adapt our recipes and other traditions are very closely entwined and related to the ways that we think of place, and how sometimes the ways we change things can become very connected to place in places like Oulu, Wisconsin. And so I'm especially excited to have Gloria share with you her Pulla that is been shared throughout Oulu, Wisconsin in particular. There's all kinds of folks who have learned how to make it specifically from Gloria. And I can say that it is honestly some of the best Pulla I've ever had. It is really delicious. And so with that, I'm going to introduce Gloria Johnson. She's a longtime resident of Oulu, Wisconsin. And I'm excited to hear you walk through this process with us. And then also Erika Suo, who I've had the pleasure to work with as part of the Oulu Cultural and Heritage Center's summer school program. And yeah, just fantastic people here with us today. And so I will let you add to your introductions in any way that you see fit. But with that, I'll let you guys take it away and let us get started.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Erika Suo, and this is Gloria. Gloria has, as Mirva said, has been teaching classes and making Pulla here in Oulu, and I have taken a class from her and been super fortunate that she has come to the Heritage Center when we teach our summer school classes and has taught many students how to make Pulla. Yeah, and she's a lifelong neighbor and friend of mine, so I'm happy to be here with her today.
I'm happy to be here too today. Been a long time since we've seen Mirva.
Yes.
she could come back anytime now. But I have enjoyed making this cardamom bread. I've adjusted the recipe a little bit. You got it when you're a Swede and you're trying to make a Finnish bread, it's still going to end up with the Swedish touch. And I think it goes along good with this Finnish bread, even though the Swedes do make cardamom bread, but it's not the same. They do a lot of baking and
Yeah.
I guess that's where it comes from.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off, Gloria, but I wanted to ask if you could tell a little bit the story of how you first decided to make it and how you got started making it Pulla in the first place.
Well, okay, after we get done with our strawberry season, we have all the workers and their families and some neighbors come over, and we have a big picnic and big thank you. And one of the girls, everyone would bring something to eat. One of the girls who, I know her husband is totally 200% Finnish, and I'm not sure about her, but by this time she must be at least 100%. Anyway, she brought a loaf of cardamom bread that was wonderful. I thought, well, that's something I haven't made. And I will try that. So I started making it, and then I thought, well, this needs some kind of topping other than the sugar top. She had put regular sugar on the top of hers, and it melts down into the bread. And that was very good. But then I thought, I know there's some raw sugar that I could use to put on top, and so it stays there. And so that is what I've done. And I can explain to you by showing if you.
Yeah, when we get to that step, or do you want to show when we get to the step where you add the sugar on top? We'll talk about it then.
Yeah,
Okay, sure. All right.
No, that's great. And so, yeah, I guess, do you want to get started with the demonstration now, or I can also keep asking you some questions? What kind of order are you looking for here?
Well, I can start at any time.
Sure. Yeah, how about go for it? Yeah.
We'll get started. Yeah. Can you hear Gloria? Okay. Good. All right.
I grew up baking bread at home by hand, and done a lot of hand baking of all kinds, but I never did make the sweet breads. And when I got a touch of the cardamom bread that Margie brought over, I thought, well, that is something I'd like to do.
That was your inspiration. Huh?
Yeah. And it was a bread machine recipe, and I thought, well, I've got a bread machine that I don't use very often, but I do now. And
so Gloria's got her dough all set to go here, and she did use her bread machine to make the dough.
Oh, fantastic.
Do you want to talk about what you did before this?
okay,
Yeah.
okay, I sure can do that.
How? Yeah.
Okay, I adjusted the recipe a little bit. I was this big. I've had in the freezer, And it's the mix. I mixed it up, everything that went into it except the liquids. But I also wanted to show you, instead of all white flour, I also added some whole wheat flour. It's a white wheat, and it doesn't get real dark like a regular whole wheat, but it is a whole wheat. It's a hard white winter wheat. And I just thought I'd show you that. It's a little creamy color.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Oh,
you
cool.
can tell there, but
Can I just add here, what I was really impressed by when I interviewed Gloria way back when was how, I think you mentioned that you often pre-measure your flour and the baking soda and everything, and you store it so that you can just kind of whip up the batch anytime. So it's what kind of, did you keep those in the freezer? I'm trying to remember here myself.
yeah, I measure all the dry ingredients, put it in a bag like this.
Here's her scale right here that she uses to have the exact
Yeah,
right amounts.
Yeah.
Yep.
compliments of Johnson's Berry Patch.
Oh.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and I think Gloria, you kind of mentioned this, but you and Arnold owned Johnson's Berry Patch for 65 years, and you worked there for almost all of them as well. So that's the strawberry references you were mentioning in the beginning there. So I think everyone in the area kind of knows you folks.
Yeah, 65 years Arnold had strawberries, and I kind of married into it. So, but I wasn't there 65 years, but 55.
Yeah, for sure.
That's for sure. And enjoyed it very much, and I hated to quit, but we decided that we needed time to look at each other and say, who are you? and so it's been good. We still have the farm. Arnold's grandpa moved here in 1926, and his dad lived here all his life, and so did Arnold. and so I'm happy to be here. It belongs to me too. And
yeah, and the scales are handy once you were using them for strawberries, and now you can use them for bowl ingredients. It's a handy thing.
We had like 9 acres of pick your own strawberries, and kept me running. Arnold was still working in town he worked for the state of Wisconsin grain inspection. So he would take the afternoon shift and leave at 3 o'clock and then come home around midnight and get up soon after it got light and be outside working in the field and the berries. And we just, that's been a good life.
Yeah, it's a busy time for you.
Yeah.
Busy time. And right now I think I get kind of lazy in the winter time.
Yeah, but no, and it's cool. It's cool that it was through working with folks there that you got the idea for the bullet recipe in the first place, and that you've been able to pass that on to folks there. And I wanted to ask you, because you showed the scale that Gloria, that you use for weighing your ingredients. Is that a tip that you recommend, to weigh your ingredients for measuring the dry ingredients? Or
Yeah, I weigh the dry ingredients. It's so easy to get too much flour, when you don't weigh it.
When you just use a measuring cup, you mean, rather than weighing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easy to get too much, and the bread gets a little more firm, then I like it to be.
Ah,
So that's why,
it's definitely one of your secrets then.
yeah,
Weigh
yeah,
it out rather than just measure it
yeah,
out. Right.
yeah, because it's hard
Mhm.
to get, you could get almost 2 cups of in 1 cup.
Sure.
If it's packed in there. And
Good point.
so that's why I like to weigh them.
Okay. And then, so to get to the dough that you had there, so you weighed out the dry ingredients, and then you also weigh out some of the wet ingredients too, wasn't that right?
Yes, I
Um,
do. Yes, I
okay.
do. And I guess I have that pretty much memorized, but I, like for the white flour, I know it, for 3 cups, it would be 9/10 of a pound,
Okay.
or nine on the scale.
Do you have those conversions written down on your recipe? It looks like you just have it in the, how many cups it would be, but you have
It's-
memorized what the
It's
weight
3
is.
cups, 3 cups.
Okay.
9/10 of a pound would be 1
Okay.
cup.
9/10 of a pound. Okay.
So it's not quite a pound, but you could,
Yeah.
so I use, for 1 batch, I use 3 cups of I call it, it's golden white flour. We get it from a mill. It's like an unbleached white flour, and it's got the vitamin E in it naturally. And then I use 1.5 cups of white whole wheat flour.
The one you showed us in the
Yes, this,
bag there. Yep.
this,
Yeah.
Okay.
So then 3/4 teaspoon of salt mixed in there, and you don't want to get too much salt because it won't raise as much.
Oh,
And 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and don't forget the sugar because it's not the same. Because I did that, I probably only once.
oh, you've learned from experience. All right.
It's not quite the same. I couldn't figure out what's the matter with it. But and then I put about 4 tablespoons of ground cardamom seed, and I guess I have some of that.
And you use a coffee grinder to grind your cardamom, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I just did.
And I think I remember you telling me how 4 tablespoons is quite a lot more than a lot of recipes you see. So,
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah.
So
Another reason it's so good, all that cardamom.
yeah.
Yeah. And freshly ground too. That makes a big difference.
Yes. And I get the decortated cardamom seeds. It's little round pebbles.
Okay.
And I keep it in a bag in the freezer.
Mhm.
And it comes in a foil bag. Comes in a 1 pound bag. It's big, and I keep it. Usually, I put it in a tight jar. I empty it all in a jar and
Okay.
keep it in the freezer.
Sure.
And then you have to warm it up, of course.
Before you grind it.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So those are the ingredients. And you measure it out, and then do you put it right in? Or what's the next step?
I measure it out in a bowl, the dry
Okay.
ingredients, and then I take a can of condensed milk,
Mhm.
and I guess I got rid of the can. I think you're wrong about that. Not sweetened condensed.
Is it the evaporated milk?
Evaporated milk.
milk. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And 1 can of that. And 3/4 teaspoon salt, 3/4 cup of sugar, and 2 to 4, well, about 4. Usually I use the ground cardamom seed. And put that, mix that together, all the flours together, and then I pour it in the, I have the milk, condensed milk, or not the condensed milk.
Evaporated.
Evaporated milk, and 6 tablespoons of butter, warmed in the microwave
Okay.
or wherever on the stove. And then I put the liquids in, put the brown stuff on top, the flour, and then on the very top I make a little indentation, and I put it up to a tablespoon of yeast.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, and if you've had your yeast for a long time, you could make it more or less.
Yeah.
So what I have here,
Gloria, do you use a specific type of cardamom? There are the different kind of colors. There's green cardamom, for example. Do you have a preference for what type of cardamom you use?
Yeah, the cardamom I guess there's different kinds of cardamom, but mine is out of the pods already. And it's what I showed you, I think, some of them. It's out of the pod. It comes in little pods.
Sure.
And what I get is it's already taken out of the pods.
And then you get that from the Whole Food store?
Yeah, you can get it from there. I order it from Frontier.
Oh.
And
Okay.
so then I get the full pound, and it's fresh. It's fresh, and I keep it fresh.
Sure.
In the freezer.
Yep.
Okay.
And then one other question, actually. So you've got it's a 2-pound bread machine, but what type of bread machine?
A 2-pound bread machine is what I have.
Okay. Is it a specific brand that you use, or?
It's not Oster.
Oster or Oster?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And any kind of bread machine, I'm sure, would do it. But it's for this amount, to mix it up, it would be very heavy, hard for you might burn out a machine if it wasn't as big as a 2-pound.
If you were going to make it without the bread machine, would you use the same ingredients? You would just do all the work by hand, all the kneading and the stuff the bread machine does for you. But you could use the same recipe, same process.
You just do it the same.
Okay.
Do it the same amount, same everything.
Yeah. Very good.
And what else can I say?
About the yeast again. Now, do you do your dry ingredients, then your wet ingredients, and then the yeast? Is that what you said?
Yeast just right in the top.
Okay, right in the top. Okay.
And is that dry yeast, or is that instant yeast, or does it matter, or can we replace one with the other?
I'll show you.
Keep that in the freezer too.
Yes.
You buy that in bulk too, obviously. Yeah. So we got it. And it's a dry yeast. Yep.
We'll mess up this table. It's like almost like sand particles, except it's clean.
And is it like a fast rising yeast or just a regular yeast, or?
Let's think it's a fast.
Fast rising. Okay. And you buy, yeah. Where do you get your yeast from? Same place
Yeah,
that you get the cardamom?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Let's see. Here. I knew I had it handy.
Ah,
Safe instant yeast.
there we are. Safe instant yeast. So how long does it take in the bread machine to get to this point? Once you get
An hour and
everything?
a half.
Hour and a half. All right.
Hour and a half. And
I'll just put these to the side.
okay. So then I want to show you. Okay. I want to show you how I form them.
Yeah. So what do you have in the
If-
cup?
Just some oil.
Okay.
I had one girl here, she just had a fit because I was putting the oil on the counter.
Ugh, yeah.
She said, my mother would have never allowed that. I said, well, that's what I do, and it's spread it around.
And it's definitely not going to stick to the counter.
No.
Yeah, very good. Look at that.
All the work could save me.
Mhm.
Got a little paddle in there.
Okay. You want to make sure you get all of it. Yes.
Yeah.
And if you did this by hand, again, if you didn't have a bread machine, would you let it rise twice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Much oil.
You need
Paper
paper
towel.
towel? There you go.
Thank you. It's nice and soft.
Look at that.
Stretchy. Like that.
That's great. Just the way it should be.
And this batch will make 3 long cardamoms or 6 shorter ones. Shorter ones will be like this size.
Okay, so 6 of these
Yeah.
can be made out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't open that door over there.
This one?
Yeah, on the side, on the right side, there's the pan
Okay,
I use.
sure.
It's standing up. I think,
Oh, the one that's up here.
yeah, that's the size I use. I put parchment paper on it, which,
I use this. And parchment paper on it. Yeah.
yes,
Okay,
I suppose I get you out of it in there.
I'll look.
Yeah.
In here still? Oh, you've got some here. Or maybe not. Empty box.
Oh, empty box. Well, in that closet right there on the right side, you could get another one.
Sure.
It's easier if you see,
This closet right here?
yeah. The right hand side.
Gloria, we've got a question also about the rising. What is the difference if we only let it rise once or if we let it rise multiple times? What does that do for us?
It just gets a lighter, not color wise, but otherwise, it'll raise better when you put it in the oven in the lows. I don't know because I've not tried doing it the other way, but I think if it's more tough, it's more like a bread that you're going to eat with a meal.
Yeah, heavier rather than
Yeah.
a lighter texture.
And what I do with this bunch here now, I don't usually cut it. I just squeeze it out. And most of my breads, a lot of our cardamom bread I do weigh it so I can get even amounts of the dough. And then the loaves get about the same, since a lot of them do get, people are buying them or else just plain eating them, but it just makes nice soft balls.
Now, do you measure, weigh the balls too?
I do when I want them to make sure that they come out the same.
Yeah, I thought when we had our class that you measured them on your
Yeah,
handy
yeah.
scale there too.
I don't know if I have to do that now.
Oh,
here.
you don't, yeah.
Just
So how much does each ball typically weigh to keep them uniform?
depends on you.
Okay.
How big loaves do you want to make?
I
You want to make one big loaf or you want to make 3?
Yeah.
So I
Gloria, I think I might have missed this, but how many eggs go into the recipe?
what?
How many eggs go into the
Was it
recipe?
3 eggs?
3 eggs.
3 eggs. Thank you.
3 eggs, yeah.
Yeah, and
When you make it, you get so that you can pretty much do it without weighing easily. Get it about the same.
Gloria, we also have another question about names. So what do you usually call this? Is it bulla or cardamom bread, or what kinds of different names have you heard, or what do you like to use?
What do you usually call the bread? Do you call it cardamom bread or do you call it pulla?
Depends on whom I'm talking to. My sisters and brothers, they say, well, what's that? I'm married a 200% Finn. And so I'm probably 200% Swede, or 100% maybe right now. but anyway, So. what
Yeah.
I-
Go ahead, Gloria, sorry.
What I take and do to make.
I was also wondering, Gloria and Erica, have either of you heard of the cardamom bread called nisu or nisu up there? Or because I think in some areas they call it that, but I was just wondering if you've heard it at all in Oulu, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think they call it that too.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
our Finnish friends in Michigan, or my
Yeah,
Finnish friends in
yeah.
Michigan, call it nisu.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's
So-
the third name too.
and biscuit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know our old school cook used to call it biscuit. I think
Yeah.
yeah, Effie, Effie Lokinen. Yep.
My husband and I had an argument the other night. He's calling something biscuit. I said, that's not biscuit. That's biscuit. No, that's not.
No.
They kind of shrink.
I was just gonna ask about that. So what are we aiming for here? Because I'm watching you with these strands and they're shrinking a little bit. Are we?
Okay, yeah, you let it be for a little while and then roll it out again. To get it to stay where you want it.
When you get them all about the same size.
Yeah. You get a skinny spot in there.
Yep, you got to fix those.
Whoop. See, then it's hard to get it thick enough there, but it works anyway. So what I do is I get them all, let them be for a little bit. And they do lighten up then.
And are you trying to? So you just want them the same length, or are you aiming for each one to be about 12 inches, or is it just kind of as long as they're the same length, you're happy with it?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. I like it to fill out that loaf over there. And some people just take the whole batch, make 3 long strands, and their loaf gets about this big. I'd much rather have it smaller, like this.
Yeah.
You know, it can be longer, but rather than a big fat.
I can put that on the pan to kind of demonstrate.
Yeah.
So we got the parchment paper on the pan, and then typically Gloria would make 6 loaves on here. Yes.
Yeah.
So 3 this way and 3 this way. So
Yeah.
that's what she's shooting for, is to make them
But-
about this size.
But otherwise I can, if I want to make long loaves, then I got to make sure these are long enough.
So you would make 3 longer loaves too,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
another
yeah.
option. Good. You start the braiding process.
So this is the part that looks the most complicated to me, which I mean, I don't have much hair to braid, so I've never done a lot of braiding.
Okay, we'll start.
Awesome. Could you walk us through this?
Okay. Get it as long as you want it. you got to keep working at it. It's like kids.
Mhm.
And then I take overlap like that. So you got the ragged edges there. And just pull it a little bit. Pinch it and turn it under.
Pinch them together and turn them under. Yeah.
Mhm.
This part's always really tricky to me, how to handle the ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't always stay that way. If it's well oiled in there, they'll come apart, but at the ends. But
Ready for the pan?
ready for the pan.
All right. So you made a longer one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Turn the
Put the oven on.
yeah.
All right. What temperature?
Just press on.
Bake.
Yeah.
There we go. 350?
Yeah.
350. All right. And how long are they going to have to bake in the oven once you
About
get in there?
you let them raise for about 20 minutes,
Okay.
and then they bake for about 20 minutes.
Okay. Doesn't take too long.
No.
I have another, speaking of raising and rising, I guess, with if we're not using the machine, do we dissolve? I kind of assume the answer here is yes, but do we dissolve the yeast in warm water first if we're not using a machine?
Yeah. Well, it depends on you can do that. Depends on your yeast. You know, if it's an instant yeast, you don't have to put it in warm water, but
Okay.
then you can get it from, make sure that, then you're sure that the yeast is working if you get a good foam.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Want to try?
Sure, I'll wash my hands real quick.
So Erika, as you do this, because you're also kind of you've been learning a little bit alongside Gloria now for a little
I have.
while. I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about the summer school and the kind of programming that's happening at the Oulu Cultural and Heritage Center.
Yeah, well, for the past probably 7 years now, we've been holding summer school classes at the Heritage Center, and it's a partnership between the school district and the Heritage Center. And I guess the purpose of our classes started to teach our local youth about our local history and our local culture, and to be able to pass down these types of traditions to the kids. And so the program has grown pretty much each year. This year, we're going to cap the class at about 30 students. But the kids will come in, and we have volunteers from the community, a lot of grandparents that come in. with their grandchildren are there, and they're teaching them arts and crafts and things like making pulla and panukaku. And we have guest speakers that come in and talk about growing up in Oulu and in the area. And then we have local musicians that come in. The Oulu Hot Shots have been coming in and performing for the kids. And so it's a real treat. And we teach them some dances like the polka and the schottisch and the butterfly. And yeah, so it's been a fun way for kind of some intergenerational passing down our history and traditions. And then we teach, besides Finnish culture and traditions, we've tied in Swedish and Norwegian. And then other weeks we talk about different world cultures, just kind of getting kids introduced to different diverse cultures. This summer too, we focused a lot because we are living on the land of, the Ojibwe people and Anishinaabe people. And so one of my goals for this summer is to actually make a land acknowledgement, some sort of a plaque where we can recognize that we are living on the land of our first people here, and work with our local tribes, and have them come in and teach kids the culture and the history and how our ancestors, our immigrant ancestors, came and pioneered and homesteaded here. But there's a rich history to be passed down to our youth. So it's kind of the goals of the program.
That's great to hear. It's super exciting. Mirva and I have both been up there, and it's a really wonderful program.
Just put this up there.
As you're kind of rolling these out, I'm wondering, we've got a question here. Is there a problem, or can there be a problem with kneading it too much?
What do you think?
No.
Can you over knead it? No? Okay. Nope, I guess not.
Great.
That's good to know.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
If it keeps raising, you don't have time, you just go punch it down and it'll wait for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's very forgiving.
Should I start braiding those three, or do you want me to just keep rolling?
Why
Keep
why
rolling.
don't
for right
keep rolling for
now?
a
Okay.
couple more?
All right. Yep, so Gloria told me she's on board for this summer. She's going to come to the Heritage Center and work with the kids, and they'll be doing this exact thing, learning how to make the braids and make the bread. And they sure enjoy that.
Great to hear.
Yeah.
And Mirva's been there teaching Finnish language too, which has been fun. It's a tricky language to learn, that's for sure. But the kids enjoy that. She makes it fun. And Marcus, you have showed us how to make, was it your grandmother's, the chocolate cake?
Yeah, that was my aunt's.
Oh, your aunt's.
Yeah, my aunt's kladdkaka. So it's
Yeah.
a Swedish kind of sticky brownie cake. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
So good. Yes.
Delicious. The nice thing about that, speaking of things that are forgiving, the nice thing about that is it's also forgiving because it can be as sticky or not sticky as you want it. So if you undercook it a little bit, you just blame it on and say, oh, it's called a sticky cake. It's fine.
Yep, it is very chocolatey and very rich.
Yeah, if you wait for a little while, then it'll
Okay.
obey you better.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, I wanted to add, because sometimes when you all make food with the summer school, you kind of use it to sell at local festivals. Because I think one year the bulla was for sale at the Johannes Festival. Was that nice? And I think what other kinds of food do you usually have at those? Because I think I remember quite a spread. I'm trying to remember specifically.
At the Johannes, yeah. We've done, sometimes we have moyaka, kala moyaka, a fish soup. and rieska bread and vili, kind of a yogurty kind of food. And what else? Makara, some kind of sausages, kind of like a Polish sausage. So we just give it that Finnish name.
Yeah, I think when you're young, was rice porridge one too? I think that was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rice. Yes, the rice pudding is always very popular too, with a fruit on top, a fruit soup. And I know the Heritage Center is doing an event in collaboration with the winery in Iron River tomorrow. They're actually having sima that the winery has made. And so the Heritage Center group is making pulla to serve there. And so I'm anxious to get there and try the sima, which is a traditional Finnish drink too. Mirva, maybe you know more about that because tomorrow is Vappu, May 1st.
Yeah. It's no, it's been cool. I honestly hadn't known anything about it until now. I see it in the grocery stores everywhere. But it's especially exciting that you guys have that collaboration with the local winery there, because it's they have the soda version for sale in stores here, and it's very tasty. So that's cool that they're doing it there too. And yeah, no, I'm very excited to hear that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that goes.
What
are you looking for?
I had some Finnish Polish sausage.
Oh, Finnish Polish sausage. Okay.
And I was supposed to, I must have brought it down in the basement in the freezer.
Okay.
Arnold, be sure you show him that.
Oh, well.
Oh.
And where did you get that from?
I think we got it in Ironwood.
Okay, it was
the
made
grocery store
in Ironwood, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway.
Okay, how are we doing here?
We're doing okay, I guess. You can see if you want to make that longer or shorter.
Yeah, that skinny part there. We'll kind of incorporate that in like that.
Yeah. It's why you let it rest for a little bit while you work on the rest of them.
Sure. 12 o'clock, huh?
I was wondering also, because I remember the kids were very excited about about making the bulla and like the braiding part, especially. I'm trying because it's kind of like because how does it work with the summer school? Do they kind of take turns, or like how does that, because there's only so much space, I imagine.
Right. Yeah. So we have several activities going on at once, and the kids rotate through centers. And so our little Palo house, which is on the historic register here in Wisconsin, serves as our baking center. So that's where the pulla making goes on. And the kids will take a turn rotating in that center, usually 4 to 6 kids, I guess, at a time. We'll go through and get an opportunity to make it. And then the other times they rotate through arts and crafts and sewing and other games and lessons. So other pioneering kind of activities too.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. You want me to try braid this one?
Sure.
All right. Okay. The oven's hot. I know the recipe that I generally make at home for pulla, when we finish it, when it comes out of the oven, I brush a combination of coffee and sugar on top of it. And so it gives it that coffee flavor too. So that's, I don't know if others use that type of way to finish it off, but Gloria is going to show us how to put the sugar on top, but that's just another option, is the taking hot coffee and sugar and mixing it together and then brushing it on top as soon as it comes out of the oven. That's a tasty, different twist on it too.
Yeah, no, that sounds tasty as well. It's cool how there's so much variation in these traditions.
Yep.
And there's a question here. Have you all made those Karelian pies up there with the like kind of rice porridge in the middle?
No, but that has been a goal of mine. Yeah, definitely. I know exactly what you're talking about. And when I was in Finland, I enjoyed eating those. And so that is definitely on our bucket list of things to make. So good idea. We'll try that this summer during summer school.
We've got another question. I'm just kind of fascinated by the braiding here, which is maybe my own issue, but we have a question here also about the braiding and those ends specifically. And Mirva mentioned that those are tricky, but it looks like you're almost kind of stretching the dough at the ends a little bit. Does that kind of tighten things up, or what's the purpose there?
When you make the ends, Gloria, do you stretch it out a little bit and then twist it under?
Yes, twist it under. They
Yep.
should. They don't always see that way.
Yep, just do your best, I think, that's the way I do it, is stretch it out and kind of twist them under and push them together.
Also, I just want to point out real quick in the chat, there are some fantastic suggestions about toppings, and also it's wonderful seeing this with a vanilla sugar slivered almond combination on top, and the, like you said, Erika, the coffee sugar combo, and it's great to see all these. Fantastic.
Oh, good. Good job. Is that one a little shorter? We're going to have 4 long breads on this pan.
Okay,
There you go. Look at that.
gotta get some milk and an egg.
Okay, milk and an egg. Here comes Gloria's toppings. Do you need a bowl to put that in? Mix them up in? And a fork? What do you have in there?
That's what I have in there.
Oh, that's what you have in
I'll
there.
make
Okay.
farmer eggs are tough shells.
Yeah.
Beat that up.
Sure.
That oven so that we can raise it in there.
Oh, sure. You want me to put it in there?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
We have to coat it first.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So how much milk are you going to put in there? He'll show us, huh?
I think I put about a cup.
Okay.
Where's my sheet?
Is it on here?
Well, whatever. Whatever, it doesn't.
About a cup, you said. All right. Now, are you gonna brush it on?
Brush it on,
Okay.
and then we'll put sugar on. It's raised. I have to open it.
You want
So
it
it's
still
not,
open?
no, yeah.
Okay,
So
so it's
I
not,
should have had you just put it on like 200.
oh, sure.
But,
Well, it'll cool down now. Aha, those are nice brushes. All right, you show me and then I'll do what you do.
A cup and an egg, a cup of milk and an egg.
And
Put
when
it
you're
on there.
brushing, I was just going to ask if you have any advice for brushing it on there. Is there?
Are you pretty generous with the egg when you brush it on?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mirva was asking for any advice on brushing it on.
I'm not going to ask you about what they do in Finland until we're done.
Yeah,
They probably do totally different.
maybe.
There's no wrong way of doing this because those
Yeah.
things are delicious. So
And speaking of delicious, Gloria, we have a comment in here. Do you tend to mail this Pulla ever?
To
We have
mail
a
it?
yeah. We have
Yes, she mailed it, yeah.
Oh.
Everybody was supposed to give me a sample and she did.
Oh,
Of their-
Yeah.
Mirva has
Like-
mailed you Pulla?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
She made it, and
Wait.
she sent me,
Yeah.
and she passed the test.
Yeah. But Gloria, you mail it yourself too, right? I think, do you mail it to your kids at all? I think we've got a comment in here that you mail it as far as Alaska and Arizona.
Must be true. Yep.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
impressive.
closest thing that I have right now to raw sugars, this sugar in the raw. It's not really the kind I like, but I had gotten a great big bag, a 25-pound bag at a store that was really nice. This is great too.
Okay, sugar in the raw.
The other stuff is more coarse. It's starting
Okay, start sprinkling it on.
sprinkling on. More than sprinkle, put quite a bit.
Yes. Gloria puts lots and lots of sugar in the raw on top.
And we put it a second time there.
I remember when we had our class, we all put it on and put more on, put some more on. A few times we were told that.
so that's why it's important also to be generous with that glaze then, right? And kind of get it
Yeah.
into the
Right.
braids a little bit, it looks like.
Right.
It's great.
Okay. I'll get one layer down and you can tell me if I need to put more on.
Yeah.
You want to do that one? I want to watch you. Very good. One more right here.
Okay, then we have to brush it again.
Oh, brush it again.
Wait, no. We'll let it raise.
Okay.
Wait, no. Now I'm mixed up. We're gonna do it again now,
Okay. That's right. We do it twice?
Yeah.
Okay.
but
I can grab my brush and keep going too.
might have to put some on after it comes out again
Yep.
from raising. I
Okay.
think that's when it's supposed to come. But we'll do it then too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't hurt to do it a little extra, but yeah, I remember you putting it on after raising was the trick there.
That's right. Okay.
This is the tricky part about trying to do everything in such a short amount of time here.
Yeah.
It's great though. This is the first time we've done a food event for FinnFest, so this has been fantastic. I'm loving seeing this as you all go through the different steps.
There we go.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it in the oven.
We're gonna let it raise for about 20 minutes.
Okay. All right, so there we are, all the sugar on it, going to raise in the oven. Close the door.
Yeah.
All right. There we go.
For 15 minutes,
Okay.
start with. Let's see.
Yeah. All right. You get to sit down and relax a minute.
I think we need a cup of coffee.
I was thinking coffee too. See how that coffee is with the vanilla in it that you put, Gloria. I'm anxious to try that. Oh, she put a little vanilla in the coffee grounds. Sounds good to me. Finnish coffee. There we go.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
What temperature were you raising the bread at?
350, right?
Well, to raise it, about 200 is what it should be.
Okay.
Or yeah, about 200.
Okay.
That's what I do. It gets
So-
nice and puffed up.
Yeah. Would you set your oven to 200 then for the raising purposes and then take it out and then
Yeah. then
crank it up to
turn
350? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
So speaking of coffee and Pulla and all of this,
Coffee time.
Yep.
coffee time. I mean, you all have, I guess, because of COVID, it's been on hiatus a little bit, but the Cultural and Heritage Center has been having a kind of coffee hour for a while now with Finnish speakers and delicious baked goods also. Could you talk a little bit about that and some of the other programming that happens at the center?
Sure. Do you want to talk about the coffee time? The Wednesday coffee
Wednesday coffee.
at the Heritage Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to get together. And the women sit there and don't say a word and the men talk. But then they go home and they say, how come you talk so much?
Sorry. Yeah.
I guess we talk too,
Yeah.
but those guys, they sure can talk. It's very, very interesting. And usually we all bring something to eat,
Yeah.
of course, to go along with the coffee. And they also have tea. And if you're from far away, you don't have to worry about bringing some homemade stuff. There'll be lots of it there. And I hope you get a chance to come this summer.
Yeah. Coffee and conversation. That's what they
Yeah,
call it, right?
uh-huh,
Yeah. On Wednesdays from 10 to 12
yeah.
is what it has been. And Yeah, you're right. It turns into a potluck basically
Yeah,
every Wednesday.
It's a potluck dinner.
And it's such a nice way for members of our community to get together because we're so rural. We don't have a community center, but we have the Heritage Center now to gather at.
Yeah.
So,
And you know, people come and go. They come sometimes for a little while, sometimes for long. To stay
Yeah.
for 3 hours.
true. Yeah. Yeah, and we like to, and again, we're just getting up and going after COVID again. So the center's pretty much been closed the last 2 years, but we like to bring in guest speakers and we have big plans for exhibits and really developing the center. We're getting a new pavilion built this summer that'll be really nice. And I imagine that will hold community events as well. And
Yes,
yeah. So
we don't have a school, so
that's right. We don't have a school in Oulu.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
where we can have.
but it's a place where we can educate our kids and get
Yeah.
together with the kids too,
Uh-huh.
because we don't have an elementary school here.
Mhm.
Yeah. Good point.
I think that's one of the things that it's just so exciting to see, right? That it's become this space for education and community building and all sorts of just amazing things where, you know, you've got kids making up these fantastic games like what is it, farmers and loggers, but also
Yeah.
then learning how to make pulla and speak a little Finnish. And it's just a really wonderful place for all of this to be happening. So it's great to see all the changes also that have been happening the last couple of years with the new build, the Aho house. And
Yes.
it's just, yeah, it's just super exciting to see. And for all of you who are nearby or at least near-ish, I cannot stress enough, like take a drive to Oulu and check out the Heritage Center. It's really a wonderful place, especially with some of the exciting activities coming up this summer. So
Yep. We'll be glad to give you a tour.
Yeah. Can I just add real quick? I absolutely agree with everything that y'all just mentioned. And I also want to say it's been really cool to me to see how many folks are involved in the summer, like in any given week, how many people in the community are volunteering their time, and folks like Gloria coming in to teach, but like also with the actual building of the center and how folks have been, this is all like, you all have made this happen. And it's really just been wonderful to get to see. So.
But back to the pulla, because I'm getting hungry. We had a couple additional questions here. One is about the raising time. So you said about 20 minutes at 200 degrees.
About 15. I set it for 15 minutes. And
Okay.
the oven was warm. I had the door open for a while, so it cooled off to about hopefully.
Yeah.
It's not critical. Doesn't have to even be 200 probably, but it raises faster. I'm just bad as a kid, so can't wait.
Yeah.
Well, so with the kind of timing and all that, does that affect the baking time? So if does it have to be 15, 20 minutes or, and if so, does that change the baking time? If I pull it at 10 minutes, because I'm getting impatient.
Would 10 minutes be enough rising
Probably.
time? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the baking time stays the same about?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And
So once it rises, Gloria, when it's done, go ahead.
Yeah.
Then we're going to add more
Yeah.
of the egg wash and more sugar,
Uh-huh.
and then bake it the final 20
and then
minutes.
we could put it right smack back in the oven.
Okay.
And then once it comes out, we're eating. Do we serve it? Do we serve it with butter? Do we serve it plain? Do we serve it with coffee?
You can't cut it, so you just have to pull it off, pull pieces off, and eat one loaf that way.
Yeah.
You can't leave it looking like a mess.
No. But yeah, we definitely put butter on it, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So good.
Do I have the butter out?
Yes, I think there's butter back there.
Enough?
I think so. Where do we put it? Well, maybe it got put away. There it is.
Are we running out of time?
We probably are getting short on time, huh?
Yeah. I just want to add, I appreciate all the folks chiming in the chat with different experiences and takes and recommendations on Pulla, and also their knowledge on Nisu. And a fun thing with the Pulla is oftentimes over here they don't eat it with butter on it, and so I think that was the thing that I have, since I learned how to do that in Oulu, I always put butter on mine ever since. It tastes better that way to me.
I think they're a little more health conscious maybe in Finland than we are here in America. I don't know.
No,
Oh, yeah,
I think
they probably wouldn't put so much sugar on it either.
yeah, it's whatever the reason, it tastes better with it. So leave it.
How is it looking in the oven?
It's coming.
It's coming, but not quite ready yet. All right.
Not quite, a little bit longer.
Yeah. Okay.
So Mira, actually, I mean, that's a really interesting thing to be thinking about when we talk, we start these programs talking about immigration and indigeneity and who's where and who's been here before and where we're coming from. So it's really interesting to hear kind of these different, the ways these things have changed a little bit, right? And something as simple as like putting butter on it, maybe being kind of quite different from what it might be like in Finland. And I'm wondering for you now, who have made Pulla with Gloria, who've now been over in Finland for a while, what your experiences have been with the Pulla making, kind of in an American context, but then also in a Finnish context.
Yeah, it's actually been really interesting because I have a couple friends here who are Finnish American and who are also kind of experiencing this Finnish side of Pulla for the first time, and we tested their recipe here, and it didn't work quite as well. And so it was kind of funny to learn that, I don't know, the yeast seems to work a bit differently here, and there's a lot of other little things that aren't quite the same. And so it definitely had me thinking about how am I going to have to adapt this then when I go back to Wisconsin? But it's also been interesting just to see how variation changes too, because here there's a whole bunch of different types of Pulla that I hadn't really known, that you can have a different kind at Christmas versus around Easter time, and there's just all kinds of different types. But then there's also folks who have their same go-to recipe that they use for every occasion they always come back to. So it's interesting that what gets kept and what gets saved and what doesn't. It's been pretty cool to see for sure. And kind of introducing folks to, hey, this is how I've made Gloria's Pulla, and this is what I call the best. And so they've been kind of they found it really cool to see how, like, oh, you put the raw sugar on top rather than this other kind of pearl sugar, or you put them both together sometimes too. So it's been cool to kind of share with other folks here as well.
Awesome. And someone just commented that for some people it is traditional to use butter, and I think this is what's really wonderful when we talk about this, right? There was also someone in the chat that mentioned being in New England and never having put butter on Pulla. And we see these regional differences, right? I mean, Finland's a large country. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of space. The United States is a big country. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of space. And we see these really regional differences. So oftentimes, and this is something that we sometimes maybe struggle with a little bit, but when we talk about tradition, well, traditions are always changing, and they're changing from different regions, and they're changing from generation to generation, from town to town, and that we really should be a little more nuanced. And this is on me a little bit when we talk about like what is traditional, that sometimes, yeah, butter on pulla is great. Someone noted that, you know, some kids in Finland put jam on pulla. So we have all these different ways of kind of eating, of course, but it says a lot about where we're from and why we do what we do, and all sorts of really exciting things that we can think about. So I'm just loving all the comments in the chat here. It's really been a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, no, very much agreed. And it's and I also think it's kind of cool how sometimes it's like on the individual level, sometimes these changes start happening. Because I know, at least in my family, my dad always put butter on his bulla, and my mom always told him it was wrong. You shouldn't do it that way, but he has stuck with it. So it's all kinds of like little things that like do and don't, you do or don't continue. It's like it's up to you at the end of the day. Like, do you want to do it this way or that way?
Mhm.
Almost ready.
Almost ready, she says. Great.
Forcing it.
That's all right. We can press, yeah. Okay. Do you want me to get it out for you, Gloria? Let's see. Okay, we should put a hot pad down on your counter there. I'll put this down.
Yeah.
Put that down. All righty.
It'll be good.
Okay, so normally you would let it go a little bit longer, but oh, I can tell it. Yeah, it's definitely puffed up. Yeah,
I can turn it back.
turn the oven
on.
back up.
I think I need to write down some of these suggestions from the chat. These are great ideas for eating bulla.
Oh, we want to turn it on.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we've got people
So
dipping it
will
into
we
to
be
coffee,
the-
eating it with a spoon,
That's what
turning it
Liz
into
said.
French toast, toasting it, all sorts of
Mm.
great ideas.
Okay.
All right. So another coating. Big wash. Yep, it's definitely has risen.
And as you're doing that, Gloria, can I ask real quick? We had a question about, will these loaves end up being like pretty kind of bound together in a way, since they're going to be close together? Like, are they going to be kind of like baked into each other a little bit?
Are they going to
Or-
be baked into each other a little
Are
bit?
you going to have?
Yeah, yeah,
They will, but she'll be able to separate them easily.
yeah.
So yeah, they do bake right next to each other. But yeah, from my experience, she's able to get them apart real easily. How's that?
Okay.
Good. Oh, here's mine. There we go. How's that?
That's good.
All right.
Okay.
So back to the oven, or do we want to wait till it gets to 350?
Let's put it in there.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
It's heating up and it's down.
All right. So there we go. Back to the oven now for 20 minutes.
Okay.
We'll check it in 15 minutes, it should be. So when are you gonna get here for coffee? We're waiting.
Yeah.
Soon,
Well,
soon as
with-
I can.
As we kind of wrap up then, because we're at 12:30 now. So 20 minutes in at 3:50, and then we're ready to eat, right?
Ready to eat as soon as it comes out, or do you let it sit and cool a little bit?
No.
No, eat it right away. Eat it while it's hot.
You don't. Can't do that.
No. You can
It's
just,
the best. You just pull it apart. You can't slice it, but
yeah. So again, the finished product is gonna look like this, so,
Looks
And-
fantastic.
yeah.
And someone noted with kind of the double glazing and the sugar, that you get kind of that sort of crusty top there, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's very satisfying, that crunch you get,
Yeah, that's
crunchy
great.
top. Mhm.
Well, as we kind of wrap up, I want to thank everyone. This has been really fantastic. I want to thank you, Gloria and Erika, for demonstrating this and for being kind of our online FinnFest pioneers for the first people to do a food demonstration, which was really fantastic. It's been great to see. It's been great to see the all of the comments and just the conversation going on in the chat has been wonderful. Really appreciate everyone coming out. I want to note again, I'll put it in the chat, we've got Gloria's recipe online, and I'll put that in the chat here. We will have a recording of this, and we'll get that up in the coming weeks, and we will send out that to everyone who's registered. So be looking for that as well. And again, May 21st, not the last Saturday in May. May 21st will be the next FinnFest program. More details are coming on the website, so do check that out. It'll be a great series on environmental, on sustainability in the environment, which obviously is an important topic and something that's very, well, just kind of key to what's going on in Finland right now, I think, and the world as we look at energy and all that's going on. So with that, Kitos, I guess, and thank you all for being here. And we'll see you soon.
All right.
Kitos. Thank you so much.
Yeah.